Good afternoon and welcome back. Joining me right now is Leigh Cowden with the Vermillion Law Firm. First of all, how are you this afternoon?
I'm fine, thank you. How are you?
I'm great. So your specialty is estate planning.
Yes.
Estate planning lawyer. So first of all, what is estate planning for those that may not know who may be watching out for right now?
Okay, so estate planning is all about putting together legal documents that are drafted with your particular family in mind, ensuring that if you're ever incapacitated, there is a plan for someone to manage your financial life for you, to make healthcare decisions for you, and then eventually when you pass away, there's a plan for what happens next, what happens with your assets, your home, your bank accounts, how do we make sure that your last debts are paid, and then who are your beneficiaries going to be, and under what circumstances would they be inheriting assets? Because, for example, a very young person should probably not get $1 million handed to them, or they might lose it really quickly. So these kind of things. And we also have to have decision makers in place. So who do we trust to be in charge of these processes when something happens to us?
And who are the ones that benefit from estate planning, and can it be anybody?
So as far as the actual plans themselves, they're designed to benefit not only the person who the plan is for, like the person who hires a lawyer and says, I need these documents. It also benefits the beneficiaries, and oftentimes those are family members, sometimes immediate family members or extended family members who are going to be receiving assets or are going to be dealing with this process. But ultimately, who estate planning is for is anybody who needs to make decisions but might not be able to make decisions. So I say anybody who's 18 years of age or older, because when you're under 18, if you have parents or guardians, they're legally allowed to make all these decisions for you. But once you reach the age of 18, nobody's legally authorized to make decisions for you unless you put it in writing somewhere and in a way that's recognized by Tennessee law. So estate planning is really for anybody 18 years of age or older. But if we have somebody who is incapacitated due to special needs, for example, somebody with autism who at the age of 18 might not ever be able to live independently, they might need this type of planning done at an earlier age.
And that leads me into my next question. How old do you have to be to start estate planning, and how old maybe should be when you start planning this out? Because it sounds like you can, like you said, could be right at 18 years old.
Yeah, so most 18-year-olds don't have a whole lot of assets, but a lot of 18-year-olds do leave home and sometimes go to college, or they get their own apartment, go to vocational school, and nobody's legally allowed to make decisions for them once they reach that age. So that's at least an age that you want to have durable power of attorney and healthcare power of attorney. So if you got into an accident or got really sick, you've named the people who could make decisions for you legally. Because if you don't have that, and you're in the hospital, doctors and other medical providers need someone to make decisions for you. And if there's nobody legally allowed to do that, it can cause delays in receiving care, or you could receive care that you wouldn't want to have. And so I say, if you've got kids ready to go off to college or launch their life outside of the nest and they're about to be 18, that's a good start at getting these ancillary documents. And once somebody has some assets to speak of, like bank accounts, vehicle, or real estate, that's a good time to start talking about maybe will or revocable trust. These are slightly more advanced things that a person needs, but absolutely will benefit them and their family if something were to happen.
And at the same time, what are things that you may want to avoid when you are estate planning?
Well, a big one is kind of a new thing recently, actually. It's the use of artificial intelligence. So a lot of people go online and they say, oh, I'll use ChatGPT, or I'll use this software that says it can do it for me. I just have to click some boxes and it'll generate a document for me. The problem with these are they're not actual attorneys that are drafting the documents. They don't know what's going on in your life. They don't know about your assets. And so you're not relying on an expert to do this really important planning, and things can go really sideways. So only attorneys licensed in the state of Tennessee to practice law can draft legal documents for you for a fee. So if it's somebody else offering to do that for you who's not licensed, or some faceless online thing, chances are you're going to end up with something that might not be the help you're looking for.
And that brings up an interesting point too, is that are these cases that you have seen already within just the last few years with AI becoming as prominent as it is?
Absolutely. There's a big push right now in both the insurance industry and the financial advising industry to try to recruit insurance people and financial advisors to start offering these services in kind of an off-the-books way, where they use this software that has disclaimers saying, we're not lawyers, we're not giving you legal advice, this is educational purposes only, but they're actually using that software to draft legal documents. So they're trying to go around the law a little bit in that way to make some extra money, but really it's shortchanging the clients in the long run, because I've seen the documents drafted by these programs and they are not what most people would want for themselves.
That is truly fascinating. Yeah. And then maybe looking at big picture, whenever you are estate planning, or maybe there's high profile cases out there, is there something that you kind of look to and say, hey, maybe this is something that we can learn from? Yes,
actually there's a local one here. The heiress to the L.L. Bean fortune, L.L. Bean, the big company out of Maine. Obviously worth multi-millions of dollars. She was a resident of Knox County when she passed away. And what I find pretty fascinating in my line of work is even really wealthy people who have all kinds of resources sometimes don't do the right estate planning for themselves. And so you hear about these cases, and this happens to be one of them. This case ended up getting tangled up in probate court, which is something you can plan around. You can avoid probate with the right estate planning, but she did not do that type of a planning. And so we have this massive estate that is now in this very public forum, and her attorneys actually petitioned a court to be able to redact the file, meaning black out sensitive parts of the petition, because a petition has a lot of personal information about the beneficiaries, their contact information, their birthdays. And the judge said, we have never redacted a file in our courts in Tennessee, and we're not going to start today. So even somebody with a lot of wealth and influence was not able to stop a lot of sensitive information going into the public record through the probate process.
Wow, that is absolutely fascinating. And I know that this is something that you and I are going to be talking with at least a few more times down the line. So thank you, Leigh. Thank you so much for joining us this time. And we hope to see you again very soon after this.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me here.